The Panthers' offensive line, to me, has the potential to take a big jump, in part because they were incredibly banged up last season. Rich Hribar at Sharp Analytics does the rankings of the teams that have had the fewest number of reps of the starting offensive line playing together. The Panthers were 29th in this metric, in part because Robert Hunt, who was their big money guard, suffered a torn biceps in week 2. They made one of my favorite signings of the entire offseason, bringing in Rasheed Walker on a 1-year deal. But then they weren't done there. They also drafted Monroe Freeling out of Georgia. Hunt is going to be back. Damian Lewis is the other guard. But they also went from Cade Mays to Luke Fortner. And looking at just some of these rankings in pass block win, which isn't, a perfect metric for offensive line play. Mays was 20th. Fortner was 11th for New Orleans. Kwanu was 50th. Rasheed Walker was 11th. And I also really liked Monroe Freeling, who I haven't really talked about much. I thought getting him where they did in the draft made a ton of sense. At the time, I think everybody was thinking like, they're going to go receiver or maybe add a pass rusher. When I took a step back and I looked at this offensive line, I thought about the importance of creating better conditions for Bryce Young. It made a lot of sense to me. And I think it allows them to do what is the most important thing this season, which is actually evaluate Bryce Young and make a decision about his future.
Evaluate Bryce Young, but also just put Bryce Young in better situations. That run game last year was very inconsistent. There were those 2 Rico Dowdle games where he turned into prime Marshawn Lynch, and then the rest of the year, the run game was not exactly as effective. And so I think you saw them a little bit too often in 3rd and long, in obvious pass pro situations. And like you said, playing with not backup tackles for most of the year, but backup interior linemen. Teams loved hitting them with stunts, hitting them with twists, hitting them with games, attacking them on the middle. And Bryce Young, the reason they spent so much money on guards a couple of years ago in free agency was because Bryce Young he's little. And so you need guards, you need impressive interior play to keep people off of Bryce Young.